Today I'm going to be showing you how I did this landscape using water-soluble graphite. Hi, Shanna Rowe Jackson here from Caution Artists at Play, and today I am playing around with some water-soluble graphite. Basically, I am just doing a simple landscape. It is one that I kind of made up in my own mind and kind of based it off of the area where I live. I'm not using a photo reference for this. I actually drew some thumbnails ahead of time to work out my composition. I will show you those thumbnails. One of them you probably just saw on screen. The first one I drew out very simply in pen. It's about the size of half of a note card. And then the second one is a little bit smaller than a 5x7 and done in watercolor. And originally I planned to do this in color, and this was going to be the tonal study, but I liked this so much that I'm not sure if I'm going to do it in color now. And what you just saw there was an Art Graph water-soluble graphite pan. It's basically a pan of graphite, but it's very similar to a watercolor pan. And what I'm doing is I'm wetting my brush, I am lifting some graphite out of the pan, and I am putting it right on my paper. Very similar to watercolor, and a lot of fun. The fun thing about this, though, is that even after it's dried, you can still blend it because it's graphite. So there's still a little bit of blending after the fact. So you can get a lot of soft blends with this. So right now I'm going through and I'm laying in my clouds. And it's kind of messy, but I don't mind because I know it's going to be a really cloudy day. And I'll smooth it out in a little bit. I'm just going through and pretty much applying the shadows, and there I am. It's actually a makeup brush that I'm using to smooth it out. I love to use makeup brushes for mop brushes. Now I'm going into the shadow areas with some General's powdered graphite, and I'm using a soft tool to do that. I went a little too dark there, so I just tried to lift it with my eraser. And now I'm going back in with some more of the Art Graph water-soluble graphite. And now I'm just adding in some dark trees. This is just so much fun. I love working in black and white every once in a while because you can really get kind of a moody feel, especially if you're doing something like a landscape. And the fun thing with landscapes is that it doesn't have to be perfect because nature isn't perfect. So if you are experimenting with a new medium that you're not so sure about yet, or that you're not experienced with, it's fun to do something like flowers or landscapes or leaves, things that don't have to be perfect because you're bound to make some mistakes. And with something natural, mistakes are a little less noticeable than, say, doing portraits. So I went in with, I believe that was a 4B Derwent Graphitone water-soluble graphite pencil. And I laid down my graphite in the road, and then I went in with my brush and some water and wet it, and then I think it was a 1-inch flat brush, and just kind of smoothed it out a bit. I didn't need it to be perfect because I knew I was going to be putting shadows in there, but that's pretty much how I did the road. And water-soluble graphite pencils are a lot of fun because they come in different ranges, just like regular graphite pencils. You can get hard, you can get soft. I think the set that I have is all soft. I believe it's 2B, 4B, 6B, and 8B in the Derwent Graphitone. Not to be confused with the Graphitint. The Graphitint are the ones with color. I don't actually have any of those at the moment, but that's something that I'm looking into getting because I think those would be fun to play with too. So right here, I kind of slowed it down a bit so you can see in real time how I am laying in the leaves or the clumps of leaves. And now I've sped it back up. But basically, I'm just going through and I am implying clumps of leaves. I don't need a whole ton of individual leaves in order for it to be realistic. And then I also laid in the silhouette of some pine trees in the back there. But I'm doing a lot of negative painting in this, meaning I am painting the shadows or the negative space in order to imply the positive space, which is really helpful in something like this. I don't want my leaves to be too dark, so I'd rather get my shadows in first, and then if I need to darken my actual leaves later, I can do that. And that's what I'm doing here, is I'm just kind of putting in my shadows because I want to get my shapes in there. When it's this far away, you're not going to see every single leaf. You're just going to see the shapes of the clumps. And this is also similar with watercolor in the sense that it's a good idea to start light and then go dark. So as you see, I had put in some lighter shadows there, and then I'm going in and darkening them up, because this does not erase easily once you have wetted it and then let it dry. It's not like regular graphite in that you can erase. It's pretty difficult to erase it after it's already been wet. And I just put in some branches there. I'm going back in and just kind of putting in more detail. Yeah, I learned the hard way with this that I went a little too dark in some of the areas on this. I was able to smooth them out a little bit, but the clouds ended up being a little bit darker than I wanted in the shadow areas. And it was very hard to lift anything. My electric eraser has helped a lot with that, but even then it doesn't get it 100%. I'm just going in and doing that little house and the little garage attached. Kind of smoothing things out. So even, like I said before, even once it's dry, you can kind of shift things around a little bit and smooth them out. There I go with my electric eraser, just kind of lightening up the lines in the road and some of the leaves on the trees. So it will let you lighten things. But you also want to make sure it's fully dry before you do, because the paper can become damaged if it's still a little bit wet and you go over it with an electric eraser, because the electric eraser is obviously a lot stronger than a regular eraser. So you want to give the paper time to dry before you go in with an eraser. And to a degree, kneadable erasers will help too, but not as much as with regular graphite. And there's my little thumbnail again in the corner. So I'm just going back and forth with lights and darks at this point. And this is a great exercise to do. I still might do this in color, but I really wanted to lay in my darks and my lights because that was kind of missing. My tonal values were missing from my thumbnails, and I really just wanted to get that worked out before I decided to do a larger, more detailed, finished piece in color. So I may still end up doing one in color. I really love it in black and white though, because it's so moody. I don't know. Maybe down the line. Let me know what you think. Would you like to see me do this in color? Comment below. It's so satisfying to pull up that tape. So I'm just going back in with my soft tool again, and I'm just smoothing things out a little bit. Those soft tools work wonderful. It's just like when you use them with pan pastel. And that is it. I'm peeling the tape off. Have you tried water-soluble graphite? Let me know below. I love it. Here's my finished piece. I hope that you liked it. Thank you very much for watching, and please come back soon. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe. Also, if you're interested in seeing more of my artwork, I'm on social media, so check out the links in the description below.